Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and I'm joined by my old buddy Rob, the Sketchcraft Force Ghost guy.
The ghost in the hall.
Is that these are the names I know? No, these are the names I know. Yeah,
30 Helens can't agree. The Book of Boba Fett is good. That's the internet this week.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Really upfront before I forget. For Patreon supporters of the show, audio is returning. So if you want the show in audio only form, so you could listen to it in your car and at work, and your boss is going to get mad that video's playing or something, audio has returned. It is back. So thank you. Yeah. So thank you for being a Patreon supporter. And there you go. And if you want to support the channel, you can be a channel member on YouTube. But if you want the audio only versions, I suggest going over to the Patreon side of things because there's a podcast feed. So anyways, yeah, we got a pretty neat show today. We got a story from Bespin Bulletin and a story from the MakingStarWars.net about Darth Vader. And if you don't want any spoilers, this isn't the show for you. This is a little bit above speculation at times. So yeah, it's going to be a thing, I need to reshare the article because I had to do a quick update. So there's this little moment where I talked about some force pushing, and people were like, "Hey, I thought Vader force pushed Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan pushed force," but I'm like, "No, they force push each other." I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry, but yeah. So let me throw the article up right here. And you can read this on the old MakingStarWars.net if you should care to. And oh yeah, really quickly, Rob, the old poster. You weren't on yesterday's show. You were so mad about Book of Boba Fett. You refused to come on, and I was like, "Come on, dude! I hate sand. I hate it." But
stupid. Never have to watch this again. Shit.
Yeah.
Happily gonna watch it again, or not the not the sand. I mean, it's the sand thing. With the sand,
Yeah, yeah.
I really wish with these posters they would ship with like glitter attached to them, so you can get that nice coarse, like sandy feel. Like you could feel the sand on the poster, right?
Right.
That'd be great, and it could leave little bits of sand all over your fucking floor, like right below the poster. So you can yell, this shit gets everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds right. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, so basically in like what I talk about is in the last few days, I've begun sharing what I know about Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi because we're officially in Kenobi country now that Book of Boba Fett's behind us.
Right into the Kenobi zone.
Yes. Yes.
Countdown till that joke gets stolen.
Right. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna test the site really quickly and go over to the main site because I'm actually in the editor right now and it's just kind of driving me crazy. And I think I'm gonna type on accident, but basically we are in Kenobi country, as I was saying, and so it's time to start talking about Kenobi spoilers and what's going on there. And the last couple of days, I've updated with lots of little tidbits throughout the articles. I try not to whore the site out too hard with with every little sentence that I could being its own article. I try not to do that too much. Not only out of laziness, but out of respect for the people who read the site. But that said, I had to do a couple of double ups here and today, and I did basically this one about Obi-Wan Kenobi's Darth Vader appearances, A New Jedi, and more. So, and once again, if you guys read spoilers on the site, don't go and tweet them out. And another thing is that if you want to support the site. And if you want to support the site, but you don't, you can't be a Patreon supporter or a channel member, then when you just go and take all of the contents of what I write in the articles and just put it directly onto Twitter, no one has any need to read the article. I have no reason to do it. And I know some people do it out of spite, but some people just do it because they're just like, hey, I don't know, but it really actually does, when you put it all together, it does take away a lot of, makes the site basically not pay for itself. So, and that is the idea. So, anyways, so I wrote an article yesterday about Demetrius Bistrevsky, Tom O'Connell, and Hayden Christensen are the guys who are making Darth Vader happen. Okay, so it takes a village, but these three guys are the main dudes. So several sources. It takes a Freetown, yeah, a short bus of Freetowners to come over to show up and make Darth Vader happen.
We're Freetown now. This is a Freetown show.
Yeah, it's like, hey, calm down, guys. You didn't change the sign yet, okay? When you guys put the new sign out front.
We're Freetown. Second Amendment rights here on Tatooine, Freetown. Get that shit right.
So, several sources of mine have spoken to me about Darth Vader, the fight, as well as like the lead up to it. And these sources have all said a version of the same exact thing. The first episodes are about Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa and the Inquisitors. But by the third episode, Darth Vader, he's back. So episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6 all feature Darth Vader as the main antagonist pulling the strings. And Vader's role is major, and the hype is not misplaced, in their opinion. It's sounding good, guys. I promise. It is sounding good. There were a couple of misgivings about Book of Boba that I had heard and that I have not heard for this series. So I expect this one to be more of the more on point of the shows for the more critical viewer. So if you were excited for Darth Vader returning like I am, you're going to get exactly what you want. This Darth Vader flipping and kicking. Not kidding. He really does some sweet flips. And think of him more like Darth Vader in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but angrier. I recently wrote about how he force pushes Obi-Wan a great distance. I put that the wrong way, but the irony is they both do it to each other. So, but he's no joke. Sources are saying that when Luke fights Darth Vader, you're going to see a huge difference between Darth Vader talking to Luke and trying to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi. And in that 12 years, the 12-year difference there. But the difference here is that you get that he's not trying to kill Luke. Like, he's not overpowered compared to the Luke fight. In the Luke fight, he's not trying to kill him. He's just teaching him a lesson. So and I think that is going to be something that we're going to be hearing a lot from the people who are like, oh, well, why did he just cut off Luke's head and flip over him? Was never trying to do that. The Obi-Wan rematch that we get from this one in A New Hope, oh, that one's just weird, isn't it? There's really no getting around that one. David Prowse makes shit up. He couldn't fight. So
someone said they're a David Prowse truther. I was like, fucking bravo. I appreciate you.
Justice for Prowse. Justice for Prowse. And then a little tidbit that I wanted to put in here because this stuff does get significant, but I can't go into it right now. But speaking of Tom O'Connell, I'm told he also plays a Jedi Knight in Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. In the series, he plays a Zabrak Jedi like Darth Maul, but without the face tattoos. So think Heath Koth. Heath Koth is one of the dudes on the Jedi Council. Then they replaced him with another actor. So then they made it Ajan Kalar or something like that. Okay. Some nerdy shit. I don't know.
He's more Three Doors Down and less Papa Roach. Is what you're saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It isn't clear if he's one of the surviving Jedi or if his character stems from one of the Order 66 flashbacks. But the takeaway is that there are new and unknown Jedi in this series. And on a side note, for you fans of behind the scenes stuff, when Tom isn't playing Darth Vader and Jedi in the series, he's playing a Mandalorian in season 3 of The Mandalorian and performing stunts for the Mandos. So that's an interesting dude. That's a guy you want to have a beer with if you ever get to pick. Who do you want to have a Star Wars beer with? This guy's going to have the stories. So, and then I talk a little bit about, yesterday's article with the Inquisitors and all of that jazz that was going around. So, yeah. So there's quite a bit of Kenobi stuff there, I think, if you really want to dig into it. But yeah, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm right in predicting that they're going to be really hard on Darth Vader being very powerful in this, or do you think cool just trumps it?
I'm trying to understand how you phrase that. Like, do I think they're going to be very?
Yeah,
There's going to be backlash against that.
yeah,
Is what you're saying?
is the discourse going to be why does Darth Vader fight like this now? Why doesn't he why is he like part Darth Maul now? Why didn't he fight like that in The Empire Strikes Back?
Right, arthritis. You should just say
Arthritis.
it's space arthritis. You should have one scene where he goes, "I hope I don't get the space arthritis." You know, like, I picked the shingles up in Freetown. And then the people could just tell me how fucking great that really is, and like I'll be like, "You're right. It's what does it matter? It's just a simple, silly story. Nothing. Just do whatever you want."
just do whatever you have to do.
Look, it's 50-50, I think, on
Yeah.
that one. I think the people who are already mad that they're even making this thing, and there's those old men yelling at clouds. Why did Disney gotta even make? It's always Disney, right? Why is Disney always gonna make the Vader and the Obi-Wan? They already told the story. It's called Star Wars. Like, all right, man, whatever. And then you got the cats that keep trying to get me to watch that thing where they made Vader and Obi-Wan fight, but all cool with lens flares and shit, like like with motion blur and bloom lighting, like it looks like the PS4 upgrade kit, right? Like for
Right.
right. And I'm just like, all right, I think if they fought like they were old men in this one, they would get clowned more than if they fight cool. That's what I think. I think we live in a world now, man, where like, you're getting pretty interesting fights in movies like John Wick, like
right.
And so yeah, they have no choice. They have to do a cool fight. If you do an old man fight, it's going to be worse. So I'm fine with that. I don't care.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Revenge of the Sith meets Rogue One is the vibe that
I just don't want them swinging around on cables and shit, or when they stand there and just twirl their fucking swords around. Like, have a meaningful fight. It can be dynamic and you can do cool moves, but don't just stand there with the figure eighting your lightsabers for like 60 seconds. Like that doesn't. What are you doing? Like I don't get that. So,
I mean, have you ever been to a Banana Time show? I mean, if you had
Banana Time, man.
If you had, you know exactly.
Sold out. How can I? Tickets are always sold out, bro. Like, how can I? I'm stuck going to the Rebo Spectacular. You know what I mean?
I love Kylo Ren. He's my boyfriend.
The Rebo dead. He's not really dead though, but it's called the Rebo dead.
No, Rebo fucking gets tipped off about shit going down a lot. That's what we could take away from recent Star Wars happenings. Striker, if you had to guess in percentage 1 to 100, how much time will they spend with lightsaber fights in Kenobi? Do you mean like in one episode or like in the whole thing? Because I'm gonna guess. I'm guessing, obviously, it's probably half, probably like 25 minutes is the fight in the end, but it hopefully has a lot of drama, laced throughout it. I think this might be kind of where we get the prequels with the original trilogy kind of pushed together, and we see how that dynamic works. And does it work? You know what I mean? Like can you do the intensity of the prequels fights and then break it up with sister, and shit like that? I don't know. I honestly, for like flow, I don't know. So
this is where I trust Deborah Chow. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to trust the director. She's had a great track record.
Will you say it though? Will you say it? What time is it?
It's banana time.
No, it's chow time. Come on.
It's chow. Oh, shit.
Come and get it. Ding, ding, ding. It's chow time.
Oh, look, it's going to make me want Mongolian barbecue, and I don't really want to do that right now. I'm trying to trim the carbs here, Jason. Right?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. McCollum's making fun of me at this point. I have to do something.
Oh man! And the thing about McCollum is once the coke gets low, he gets mean. So
next to him, call you out on your waistline, and it's not fun.
Not fun.
I was doing something the other night. I was talking to my buddy about Boba Fett like yesterday, right? And he goes, "Man, your Filoni's pretty good though." And then I started doing Filoni, and I like because he's like Robert Rodriguez wears a cowboy hat and Filoni wears a cowboy hat, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm more of a hubba bubba, right? And he's more he's more of like he's more of like a Charleston Chew. Oh, no, I said a big league chew, you know.
Big league chew.
Yeah, and I said Favreau like Charleston Chew. We had to tell him that's not a gum, John. That's just empty calories. I don't know where that shit comes from, bro. Like I don't know.
It's the psychic link between you and Dave Filoni. It's okay. You know, it makes sense.
I gotta come up with something for that. That's a version of the dyad. There's a pun there waiting to be made. I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, it's good news, man, and it's cool that you got the info too.
Yeah,
it's great that we don't have to wait a fucking year for this, though. That's what I like about these little tips and info bits. Is like we are just months away from this one.
Yeah,
you know, this isn't like we have to sit here and speculate, and then it's gonna be hard for them to reshoot all of it now, isn't it? So like, because they saw the post. Ward alert! We gotta reshoot.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Was I was thinking about this, and not to take away from like the spoilers that were legit for Kenobi. I mean, for Book of Boba Fett, but so much of it was just not accurate. Like the vast majority of it was inaccurate information by far.
Big time.
And with that said, I feel like Book of Boba Fett was largely unspoiled. Other than Cad Bane shows up or what, you know, like some character shows up. It's doesn't so you know that could have been in the trailer, like Darth Vader in Rogue One or something, you know. Not that big of a deal, but that show was largely unspoiled, and I don't feel like it benefited from it whatsoever. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I told people spoilers don't matter to me. Like, and I don't think they matter at all. You know, if people think they matter, they don't. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, even forget the 80s or 90s, even now when people are talking, they always go, if you ever listen to conversations, right? Listen in on people, if they talk about nerd shit, they go, oh, have you seen this? Oh, it's great. And then this happens and that happens. I'm not spoiling anything. And they're like, you just spoiled it something. Like you have to get a recommendation somewhere. And honestly, a review in of itself, just a rating, it's a 4-star. That's a spoiler. Like, it's my. I mean, because then you could go in and go, I didn't think it was a 4. Well, maybe if I had never said shit, you would have gone in there and come out thinking it was a fucking 10. You know, like you would have thought it was even better. Sometimes someone telling you something's great makes it to where your bias is reviewing it against the recommendation. Like if I tell you, and you haven't done this, but if I tell you DuckTales is great, then you're over here every fucking episode going, oh, I'm trying to look where the fucking great is, Rob. Like versus just letting the show unfold. However, I don't think any of that matters because at the end of the day, like, what you like the Boba Fett thing is an example. It's still 50-50. People love it. People hate it. You know what I mean? I personally feel this is the worst thing they've done in a long time. Mm-hmm. But not the end of the fucking world, you know? And I don't think they should do more of it. But
something could be fun and not good. And that's kind of how I feel about Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think it's boring. That's the problem I have.
You were bored.
You know, boring's worse than bad. Because like bad, like the first Suicide Squad movie is a bad movie. But I wasn't bored. I honestly wasn't. I was like, looking at why did they do that? You know? Oh man. However, okay, like this. The X-Men movies are largely boring films. that have moments of fucking really coolness. The two most complete X-Men films are probably First Class and Days of Future Past. You know, even X-Men 2, although pretty good, doesn't hold up very well. You know,
Yeah.
it hasn't done kindly. However, you start getting past like X-Men 3, that's bad and borderline boring or offensive if you watch in terms of the characters. But you get to Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, it's a whole nother level of why do I even care?
Right.
And I don't know what it takes to get to that point. But like Batman Forever, I'm not saying it's a great film. I'm not bored, you know? Batman and Robin.
I'm just offended.
Ooh, Batman and Robin has sound effects, bro. Like zip
Yeah.
zoo, you know, like that is a level of like if you just keep adding more spices, it's not gonna make the dish better, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think these spoilers or anything.
Well, and that's kind of what I excuse me, what I wonder about Kenobi. For like, I have a feeling that it like this Kenobi series, and knowing what I know, I feel like it's very much for me, and so I expect that I'm going to be pleased with it. But on the other side of things, Kenobi's kind of a dry dude, and his best moments are super dry, and I don't know how that's going to play without it turning into like for the Disney audience, without it turning into like a cartoon of Obi-Wan, you know, hello there, and just saying shit like that constantly, because it's like, and I'm curious as to how his character does carry the show. And
I got some friends
you know,
who are younger, and they were like, "Hey man, I grew up with the prequels. I was a kid. They're my movies." I'm like, "Yeah, but you had fucking Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter at the same fucking time." So like, and you know what I mean? And like the Matrix sequels and the X-Men films and the Spider-Man films all at the same time.
yeah.
So you had a lot of fucking movies when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I don't put it, how do I say this? All we had was Star Wars and maybe a Back to the Future and Indiana Jones. You know, like it's not the same level. You know,
Right.
like even if it meant a lot to you, it's not the same. It's not quite the same thing. It's more like when you had an NES, wasn't the same as when you had a Super Nintendo or a Genesis or a TurboGrafx or a Neo Geo if you were super fucking rich, and a Game Boy. A lot more options.
Yeah.
I wonder 20 years, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they're going to be like, hey, man, the mods were the way I first experienced Star Wars. They were the best thing ever. I really found myself when I saw the mods. I'm going to be like, yo, bro, you had Fortnite, the million skins and shit.
the mods aren't even like a bad idea. They just weren't used right. They just weren't handled correctly.
Right.
So I'm not totally down on the concept. I have hope. I have hope that it becomes something cooler.
They do feel like when someone buys a skin for something that don't quite fit the game and they're running around in it.
Yeah.
Like I got a xenomorph with the Superman cape. Like I think that's cool. Man, you're really breaking the fourth wall here with that move.
Yeah.
All right, whatever, it's fine. So, but I just don't. I don't know. Like when I hit the prequels, they meant a lot to me. I'm like, man, everything meant a lot. It's kind of like when Richard Christie says everything was his favorite. It's just the 2000s was a treasure trove of riches if you were a kid, entertainment wise. It was the beginning of what we have now, right?
Yeah.
Like every summer they're getting a big fucking film. You know, I mean, after think about this. After Return of the Jedi, I mean, like, okay, Back to the Future, and then you're like, fucking big business. I don't know, like,
yeah,
Short Circuit. Shit, the Star Trek 4. It's not the same. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of dark times.
But I mean, it does, to like go back to what you were saying though about like you had this and you had that. Like I tried to show the Harry Potter movies to my kids. I tried to show Lord of the Rings to my son, and it just doesn't like it. It's like Harry Potter to him is just too goofy, and so it's like there's something about like a lightsaber, you know, that and
Yep.
Lord of the Rings is just too slow for kids. It just really, I mean, for most kids, at least my kids anyways, it's too slow. But if you want to hear something that's just sort of like a kind of like a mind fuck in a way, my kids thought the episode with Luke Skywalker in Book of Boba Fett was boring as shit.
Right.
I picked them up from school and I was like, this is kind of where I built it up though. So a little bit of it's me, but I'm like, guys, it's a pretty special thing we're going to go watch right now. It's pretty amazing. And they're like, really? And we went to watch it. And they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, what were you talking about? They just are sitting there the whole time talking, And I was like, yeah. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? As a kid, I didn't like Empire Strikes Back. I like the AT-ATs and I like when we get to see the puppet of Yoda. But I was like, stop talking, Yoda. Let's go to Cloud City and fight Darth Vader. And so that, in a weird way, those Empire callbacks to my kids, I think they had the same experience, basically. But I think they'll appreciate it later. I think later on they'll be like, oh, I see why this is amazing and why this was good. But for now,
well, it's why I don't think your test audience for Star Wars should be 8-year-olds or 5-year-olds. Like, yeah. I don't. It's not a good idea. When someone goes, well, man, I was a kid. It was the best thing ever. I'm like, hey, man, when I was a kid, Romper Room's the best fucking thing ever. Does anybody talk about Romper Room anymore?
Yeah,
some of those things stuck, like the Sesame Street and the Muppets, but that's rare. Like,
yeah, no, it's completely rare, and then that's where I feel like Star Wars has to do that instant gratification of laser swords and light speeds and stuff like that, but it does have to hang it on the stuff that even when kids find it boring, it allows them to grow into it. And that's what makes it last. Like Empire Strikes Back as a kid that shit was boring. By the time I'm 16, I'm completely in love with it for that reason. For the reason that the conversation that they're having and it added a depth and a layer to it that you don't get if you're watching like a Roland Emmerich film or something, from like Independence Day or something. So
dude bitching about comic book movies, man. It was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, you made the worst. You were the worst worst infractions of that shit in the 90s of all time, which was Independence Day and Godzilla. So just shut the fuck up and spend the money.
He made Independence Day 2.
Like 6 weeks ago. Just because we forgot about it doesn't mean it doesn't count.
Literally, how he's not in director jail, I don't know. It's one of the most creatively offensive films I've ever seen in any way, shape, or form, man. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a level of bad that you should. I don't know, man. Like, blame everyone but yourself, buddy. See where that gets you.
Jason, are you aware if the show will be on Tatooine for the bulk of the episodes, or is Obi-Wan off-world for a good bit? I don't want to jump the gun on this, but don't expect Book of Boba Fett. That's how I'll put it right now. And Lord of the Rings is too slow. We're walking. Yeah, it's true. Or they're washing dishes in The Hobbit, So, anyways,
what I was trying to say, those kids have a choice, though.
Yeah,
there's some kids who like that slow shit had a choice. We didn't have a choice. There was something that was cool, and everything else was pretty fucking dry, dude. There was a lot of dry shit. Tron was tough. Tron, you were just waiting for the speeder bikes, and then the whole fucking movie's gone. There's nothing there to watch.
I both agree and disagree. Like you're right. Like there was a lot more of the long, hard slog. Like when I saw The New Hope, there was the cantina, and I used to watch whole movies just to see the monster for a second. And that movie gave me a whole fucking bar of them at one time. And my little brain was like, yeah, this is it, man. This is how you do it. But at the same time, we have just tons of like good shit though. Like it's something, even if it doesn't hold up, but like Last Starfighter.
Well, the cartoons is where we had the real
Goonies and Last Starfighter and Neverending Story and Willow. And
those are all separated by years. Those are separated by a lot of years. What I'm telling you about, they were getting these in one year. They're getting a Harry Potter, a Star Wars, and a Lord of the Rings, and you know what I mean? Like they're getting a lot in a year, man. Like and a Spiderwick Chronicles and a bunch of other shit I don't know.
No, and no, it is. I mean, it is true. It's like to maybe use more of the video game lingo. the triple A movies by the 2000s were there was tons of them every year, as opposed to like we had a lot of B grade movies like Beastmaster and shit like that were fucking great when they came out. They were cool as shit, but they were
By the
still
time
B.
Attack of the Clones is out, they had Xbox and Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, from the Phantom Menace, think about that. The Phantom Menace, you get Episode 1 Racer, and by Attack of the Clones, you're playing Halo.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird, right? Like how that shift, so fast. And by Revenge of the Sith, that's when Xbox 360 came out. Like that was the same year. So it's like they got Perfect Dark or Cameo, stupid fucking games, but like they weren't good. They were very good. But yeah.
No, Barra Sophie is not the third sister. She's not the third sister. If you're
you
wondering.
think they're gonna explain what the third and fifth sister brother thing is, or you'll just have to pick up on that?
No, I think it's going to be like like when I watch a movie with nuns and the Sister Mary's there. They don't really explain the whole hierarchy of the Catholic Church to like make that happen. I'm just guessing. I mean, maybe that's a bad example, but you kind of get the culty kind of nature of it, I think, from it. But at the same time, maybe they do, and I just don't know yet. But for what it's worth, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, and I wanted to say the Lord of the Rings thing. Like that's the other thing that you can expect is that they're going to be like, oh, this is what Star Wars should be doing, and no, it's just not true. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, there's things to pull from each other from both, but Star Wars being Lord of the Rings would make me check out because I want to like Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? And it's laughable and boring if you, but Star Wars does it like so quick. It's like blah 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 blah. Yes, brother, the Ford, and then they get on with their.
No, they threw robots into it. That's the difference. Look, I'm not a fuzzy underwear guy, right? But I could appreciate He-Man because there were spaceships and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, so Star Wars was like, we could put He-Man. We just give them all the cool helmets and shit, and give them Terminator robots and nuke their fucking planet, and then we'll watch this.
But let's find what the happy medium is. It's actually Dune. Dune is Star Wars with Lord of the Rings, truly, and that's where I check out because the explanation, the talking about made up drivel, it goes on and on and on and on, and I'm just like, I don't fucking care. Go up the mountain, put the fucking ring in it already. But
in South Dakota.
Yeah. No, and some people love that. And once again, if it works for them, I'm not, enjoy yourself. And like the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, I understand why they're important to people, but they're just not for me. I just don't really get into it, man. Like I really tried. Like I've had like sick days. I'm like, I'm gonna put on Lord of the Rings, just watch that all day. And I get like, 2 hours into the movie, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is it's too tedious for me.
Oh, I hear you. But the making of is where I really fell for the films. And I was specifically when that first extended edition DVD set came out, and he's showing the troll cave, and he goes, we hooked up virtual goggles, and I'm in the dungeon, and I'm walking around, and I'm moving the camera with my head, and I'm like, that's just the future of everything. Like I remember sitting right at my desk. I'm like, that is fucking next level shit right there. And then like here we are, 20 years later, I got an Oculus Rift.
Yeah,
like it's fucking brilliant. I'm like, that's the shit George should have been doing. That kind of clever shit. Like wasn't being done on our films, man. So the tech they did to pull all that off, brilliant. Not just the Gollum, but just like that shit. Like being able to put on a VR set and walk around in a.
Yeah, but that was sort of like from the George Lucas perspective was what's the word, putting the cart before the carriage? You know what I mean? Like Lucas is like, we need to get photorealistic CGI, then we could do these other things. So like I could see why it happened that way, and why Weta was able to sort of pick up from that and take it to the next stage. It seems to make sense, but Obi-Wan and Yoda.
The key to that is to have nice puppets, and then you can put all the other stuff around the puppet, and then the tech guys can fill out everything, and yeah, that's how we make the money.
Yeah, that was the thing that George Lucas never understood, that we love puppets. That puppets are fun.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Cart before the horse. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on me. Shame on me, fool me twice. That's what I say. But
all I hear is George Bush trying to fucking fool me, fart me.
was it
fumble.
Talladega Nights that opened with the quote, or was it Step Brothers?
Yeah, I think it was Talladega Nights.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But let's go over and look at what Bespin Bulletin is doing today. He's got, yeah, I'm not even sure if he's the original guy who found this or not, but let's just say he is because he's my friend. So, oh yeah, it doesn't share it unless I say share it. All right, there it goes. So, mystery series codenamed Grammar Rodeo, filming in June. This issue of Production Weekly.
Grammar Rodeo.
Yeah,
that is
right.
A much better. Hold on, that is a much better name for a spelling bee. Just putting that out there.
And this art is fucking beautiful. Rodeo. Yeah. This issue of Production Weekly, a mystery Star Wars project with the working title Grammar Rodeo, has been revealed to film in June. Production Weekly added no additional details outside of the working title and the month the project is set to film. I was told a number of weeks back by my sources that there is an unannounced project on the calendar, but I wasn't told when their project would film, what it was about, or who was attached. The only thing I was told is it would be a familiar name was attached. They don't believe it to be set during the Mandalorian timeline, and that the shoot will take place at Manhattan Beach Studios. So
those 10 things you were talking about?
Yeah, that is one of them. That was one of the
cool get, Bespin. Congrats. Yeah. That's cool.
Hey, I got the N one correct there, buddy.
No. I gotta give it to Bespin. You don't get shit.
You know what? I'm gonna fight. Me and Bespin are now enemies.
30 spoiler sites can't agree. Jason Wars posted it first.
Yeah, there was. I made some notes here from Production Weekly this morning. Yeah, so Star Wars Ahsoka is codenamed Stormcrow. So that's another Lord of the Rings. It's okay, Mike. I'm just kidding. Star Wars Ahsoka,
great Lord of the Rings name, by the way.
Yeah, and remember Ahsoka in the white outfit at the end of Rebels? You don't remember that, but you should probably just watch that scene one of these days on YouTube or something. But basically, yeah, when we see Bespin doesn't care because Rob is now his friend. Basically, yeah, Stormcrow is a Lord of the Rings reference, and when we see Ahsoka in the Star Wars Rebels like little after moment, she's wearing this long white robe like Gandalf, so that's probably why it's called that. And that's filming in April, and then Star Wars Andor 2 was still called Pilgrim, and that's in fall of 2022, and the Acolyte working titles Paradox, that's May 2022 to November 2022, and Untitled Star Wars Project Grammar Rodeo June 2022. So yeah, so I think
Jedi School Grammar, calling it now.
Jedi School. Well, it could be Tales of the Jedi.
Shit.
Tales of the Jedi was that?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
It could be Tales of the Jedi, and as Bespin alluded to, it's not set in the Mandalorian timeline. So I think that makes and then Bespin points out that Grammar Rodeo is a reference to a Simpsons episode where Bart and the other kids go on a trip without their parents' knowledge. So maybe it's, Tales of the Jedi is about young Jedi children. The Padawan concept. George Lucas wanted to do a TV show using the Clone Wars assets that they just turned into. They turned the pilot of that show just into an episode of the Clone Wars with the best Jedi ever, Gunji, the Wookiee Jedi, and he has a wooden Jedi little hilt, but the kids go and get their crystals and shit. So maybe it's going to be something along those lines potentially. But yeah, I mean,
with kids, man. There's
it
Goonies,
truly
and then it's
depends.
down, and then you end up with the
Yeah.
Explorers, all right, and the Monsters. It's just, but it's mostly just downhill. It's not good.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the fucking Lost World, or what is it called? Jurassic Park, Lost World. What's the last Jurassic Park movie is called? What are they?
I don't watch them. The World ones, the
Yeah, Lost
Dominion,
World,
or some shit like that.
Lost World, Dominican Republic. I think it might be called.
Hey, I like
But
the
anyways, though, I don't know if he doesn't have kids, or what, but they fucking get these like kids with these bowl cuts, and you just want to beat the shit out of them. You're just like, these aren't real kids; these are little assholes, you know. And like, but like Goonies use like real kids, you know. So like that's where I hope they go that way, because yeah, if it's Disney Channel kids, it's going to be annoying and it's going to suck. But if they get, real kids that are like with personality and shit, then it's going to be good. And that's my fear of Luke and Leia and Kenobi. Like, yeah. I hope these kids aren't fucking,
it's
fucking Shirley Temple.
Like I trust everything except there's kids in it, and I'm like, well, I'm telling you right now, that's what I fear.
Yeah,
I don't fear anything else about it. It's the kids. It's the kids, Morty. It's the kids.
Well, I mean, it's like I mean, to go back to Star Wars Santa and Paper Moon. I watched Paper Moon the other day. I heard that kid was really hard to direct in that movie, but that kid was great, in Paper Moon. And it's like this era of kids in film. They just kind of suck. They're not real kids. They're like looking at them like from this weird, like predatory standpoint of, are they going to grow up to be hot like Britney Spears? Are we investing? And it's like, no, just get a kid with fucking personality who's ugly.
Right, they do that, don't they?
They do that all the time.
You know who the last one who didn't do that was Speed Racer. The little fat kid, great acting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? No one, yeah, he was. I came out there, I'm like, that is the best acting since Chunk and Goonies, and I'm not just because he's fat. The kid is fucking brilliant. They got him with the real monkey. I could just watch a whole movie of these two.
More Chim Chim, more Chim Chim.
But they weren't casting him because he was going to be, we know he's going to be the next Chris Pratt one day. Like,
yeah.
Even with Stranger Things, I feel like they did that, right? Like, far and away. So it's like, yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Stranger Things is maybe that kind of casting as well as it can be done. In fact, I'm even going to give Stranger Things a break because some of those kids aren't necessarily that either. But
it's better. But okay, how about this? How about Super 8? When we were at Super 8, like they clearly casted good looking kids. I'm like, all them kids is good looking. That's look. The Explorers did it. You got Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix, and the cool kid, whoever the fuck that looks like a little Doug Masters, So like no one was fugly in that fucking. They didn't represent me, my friend.
I'm even gonna throw it out there that I think River Phoenix ended up being really good looking, was maybe kind of even somewhat of a surprise. When you look at his early stuff and the roles that he played,
I fucking fell in love with him in that film, bro.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, she was L.A. She knew what's his face, Johnny Lawrence, Zabkis, right? Was that dude's name? Yeah, Johnny fucking Lawrence. But so that was her first question, and she sees Explorers, and she's like, "Oh, I love the." I was like, "The nerd." I was like, "He's the nerd." Yeah. She's like, "You're a fucking dork." I'm like, "All right, yeah, that's true." I do like baklava. Like, got that.
I just remembered what I think exemplifies though, like everything perfectly. Remember SNL when they were doing the spoof of the Stranger Things kids, and. One of them was pretending to be one of the kids, and they straight up said something like #blessed. The kids did. And like, that's what I don't want, an LA kid who would say #blessed, who is going to grow up to be Britney Spears or something, the equivalent of it. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, Star Wars Santa is blocked on our live streams. That's strange.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. Who is trying to? Who is blocking Star Wars Santa from the live stream? This is the question.
It's the Democrats. Doing it to them again, keeping the red hats off them.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Star Wars Santa donated to Joe Rogan's. Go potty.
I can't post chats on your live streams. I'm blocked for some reason. Been trying to chat. Maybe it's High Republic live action show with kids that was discussed earlier in the week.
Yeah. Did Johnny block him?
Johnny
was on a block ban the other night.
Johnny was fucking on fire the other night. He was ready to fight everybody. Yeah, I will
unblock him. Check. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think there is a way to unblock. I don't know. I might have to go find him like in the block list and stuff. But we'll definitely unblock you, Santa. That's definitely
Star Wars Santa. If you were talking about tits the other night, you might have got blocked. So just letting you know.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah, it's possible. That's what happened.
Yeah. It wouldn't. You know, God, I don't right now when it comes to outside of Bespin Bulletin. I don't really trust a fucking thing that anybody says. Not because I think that 100%. They're being nefarious. Just Bespin's the only guy I trust right now. So whenever there's this was mentioned and that was mentioned, it's food for thought to me. But
there were quite a few people, Jason, who were telling me, "No, Rob, this is definitely going to happen." And now it's like, well, I was speculating. I'm like, no, that's not the story 5 weeks ago. You know, and I don't care if people get things wrong. I just don't want people to tell me they know for a fact something's happening when they don't know something for a fact is happening. It's the only reason why I couldn't listen to any Star Wars shows because of this. Like, you were the only one, even though I had to there were times I was like, he's making me suffer through this just to get to the good shit. You know what I'm talking about. There could be an hour long. We do it here to people. We're like, hey, we're getting to it, but first you got to pay your dues. Let's talk about Iron Eagle and fucking the Explorers.
Oh yeah, well. No, I mean, it's these people, they could just all wait.
But you tell people when you don't know shit, and I mean, when it came to Boba Fett, I think you were the most honest and I don't know anything, but I know this Naboo starfighter thing, and the Rancor seems like that's a thing that's going to happen because that's everywhere. I don't really know anything else, I mean, you were there taking photographs. It was hard to get a sense of what was going on with that show. I think even more than the Mando, just based off your photos, I couldn't make heads or tails out of half those photos you were taking. And when I see how the compositing was done on Boba Fett, there's a lot of wonky compositing, man. That shot where Chrysanthemum is standing there and those Vespas come by him, that's some really bad compositing. Like, her hair, the 80s chick's hair is almost Pippi Longstocking-esque. If you look the way it's moving. Yeah. No. The mod.
Oh, the mod.
Pat Benatar.
What was it? Scad and Dradge? Sure.
Whatever, dude.
Gadge Vag.
Yeah, sure. Go Gadget Penny. But but her hair is you just look at the hair in the light. You could just see there's a lot of wonky compositing going on here, man. And so I don't know about this, but you were just honest the whole time, I think. And if they don't know, they don't know. You know, but you got to preface a speculation. You can't fucking just fan math it and hope for the best.
Well, it was pretty funny in a weird twist of irony. I don't really use. I'm very careful with my browsers and stuff, and how I because of handling sensitive information and stuff and that kind of jazz. So I don't really use my phone. I have a whole system that's just, it's ridiculous, but it's for my peace of mind and sources and stuff. But so I don't really use my phone. I don't really use my phone browser. But the one thing that was still open in it, because I don't use it when I went on it, was the Monopoly board from
the Boba Fett Monopoly board
today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the Book of Boba Fett Monopoly board today, and I was looking at it, I was laughing. I was like, this is funny because a bunch of people ran with scoops based off of this, but also this Monopoly board is a joke. It is the most half-assed. And it was the $20 version of the game. So there is a part where okay, they didn't have the pieces and stuff, fine. But if you're gonna make Boba Fett Monopoly, you said it, Star Wars Satan. if you're gonna make Boba Fett Monopoly, make it, put the mods on there, put a Rancor stuff, like
it was filled with
and
fucking shit. Like Vader's the Vader's the number one bad guy on there. I'm like, Vader hired him. Vader was his buddy. Vader should be Park Place. You know what I mean? Like, not fucking. This is Lucasfilm's fucking what's important to them board. Like on a Boba Fett board, Mace Windu's he killed his father. This is not a fucking hard. I mean, I go back and listen to me fucking just complain about the thoughts on the thought process on this. And that whole like excuse that it's disposable, bro, every piece of merchandise is disposable. The question is whether they put effort into it or not. And that's one of those fucking things that I'm like, this had the least amount of effort so we could get right through licensing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want any problems with licensing, so we did the most ho-hum shit that we knew they were going to fucking approve and move right on out,
So, wait, Brian, it won't let you super chat? That sucks.
What?
What?
Yeah. Not for nothing, though. If I could pick any person to be a Jedi, I think it'd be Keith Apicary, by the way.
Who's that?
You don't know who Keith Apicary is?
I don't think so. Do I know who he is?
Oh, my friend, you're in for a world of fun.
Yeah?
Yes. You're going to have a good time.
Who is he?
Apicary is great. He's a comedian, performer, great dancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we go back to like that Monopoly board, like when they make shit like that, it has to be stuff that is definitely like good post release, and that board is like who's gonna want that? Like if my kids,
you see the show, what does it have to do?
My kids want a book of Boba Fett because they did like the show. If they got them the board, they'd be like, "What is this? Like, why is this not the TV show?" So, yeah.
Well, I can confirm. A friend of mine told me the other day they just got assets from like the last episode, like mods and
really
Lukes and shit. Yeah, they were just so they're like because they don't want those. I guess they don't want those licensing materials to leak somewhere. And I'm like, look, you got if Spider-Man proved anything, the leaks sell tickets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just sell tickets. If it's exciting, it sell. If the leaks come out and the shit you got is boring, that's it. It won't sell shit. If the leaks come out and it's exciting, they'll sell shit. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to even go out on a limb and say, had they been selling shirts with the mods on it before we ever saw the episode, people would have bought it, and then they would have stuck by it harder. They would have wanted it to be good because they were invested. Excuse me. This allergy started kicking my ass.
Invested. There's a thing there.
Yeah, there is an article going around from one of the trades or something saying that we're going to get Mando by Christmas or something. I don't know if I buy that, you guys. I hope so. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I might put that in the February-March category at this point, given production.
Well, it actually, like in terms of production, it actually is. It would be on track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as it's always been. Starts filming the previous October, and then comes out by that Christmas. However, there's a lot of stuff coming up before it. You know what I mean? We still have 6 weeks of Kenobi. We have 12 weeks of Cassian. But maybe, maybe it's possible.
On
I guess
12th week of Cassian, the rebellion gave to me suicide pill. Oh wait, I don't know. It's a dark time. It's a super dark time. The rebellion,
Yeah, I don't think I don't even think I could. By the way, I don't think I could even ban people in this part of the chat. So I don't think it was me who banned Star Wars Santa on accident. Actually, I think
I don't even know how to ban people. Well, not how to ban. I do. I didn't ban Star Wars. Maybe I banned Star Wars Santa.
Did you ban him? Did you ban him? Was it you, Rob? Tell me if it was you.
Is he VPN.va.go away? Yeah. Then I banned him. I banned him a lot of times.
Yeah. That was him. That was Living with Damron says, Investor Day yesterday said they finally have a grasp on how much content they need to constantly pumping out shows, and that should be by 2023. That's when I assume back-to-back shows will start. Yeah, that is me and Bespin were talking the other day, and that was exactly the conversation that we had. This is before the investors call, and we both agreed with exactly that.
Did old Bob Paycheck tell that to you?
No.
This guy. Hey man, when are they gonna get all that fucking content they bought up on that streaming servers? Didn't Iger say he bought Fox and all their IP so they could put on Disney Plus, and now they haven't put shit up on there? Like, ain't no Family Guys, there ain't no nothing.
What they've done is, I think it's like, you know how we have Stars over here? I think there's this called Stars something in Europe. And so it's like Disney Plus with Stars or something to that effect. And when you get that package, that's when you're able to see Family Guy and all that jazz. Over here, they're not doing it because they don't want there to be any confusion. And I think that they're more afraid of like the Bible Belt morons getting confused and that kind of stuff.
The adult and the kid login the way you do on Netflix, man. Like, what's so fucking hard about this? Like,
oh, it's not hard at all. But also, fake outrage doesn't need to be legitimate in our country, does it? You know what I mean? For it to be a thing that's held over a corporation's head. I think that's where their mind is. I'm not saying it's right or anything like that.
Then why buy all the IP? Like, I don't. What's the point?
Well, I don't. Yeah.
If you're gonna have a monopolistic, monolithic corporation that owns everything, then at least share the shit you bought. Like, they did buy it for themselves. Now we have all the, the stuff. Muhaha, you get nothing. Like, all right. I mean, I don't know how that works. It feels like Francis from the Pee-wee movie, Yeah.
Yeah. I like when he chews that gum and that shit comes out of his mouth. Oh, it's hilarious. And for the record, I'm not saying that people in the Bible Belt are morons, but there's a lot of morons in the Bible Belt,
They think I'm going to hell because I don't believe what they believe in. So, fuck them. So, that's on them. When they stop believing in that, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But
Star Wars spoke about a Jedi series after Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I don't know anything about it at this point.
Yeah, that's the one going around.
Oh, wait, users can report and block? Did users block Santa? Because he said, ho, like the video.
He's one of the few people that laughs and genuinely brings a smile to my face. Why are you doing that to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna dig into this. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it, and I'm gonna find Santa, and I'm gonna give him mod access. That'll teach the world, right? Then Star Wars
Santa's gonna show up. Yep. With the band candy cane.
Right?
The bandy cane.
Yeah,
I punned it.
Yeah. But James says James George Washington, as they call him around here. We're getting Aliens TV series from the Fox takeover for Disney. That could be cool. Can't lie though, I'm a Prometheus man. Prometheus, I think, is probably in my top three. It's my top three of the Alien movies.
Well, I agree with you, but to my friends who don't like it, I try to explain to them that Ridley Scott is on record as saying that Alien 1 was his take on A House on a Haunted Hill, right? Which was this, everyone's stuck in a house with the monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they go, yeah, but they act really stupid, these scientists. I'm like, yeah, they act stupid. You know what they also act like? They act like camp counselors. So if you just assume this is a Friday the 13th film, right? And all those scientists, anytime they have sex or do drugs or do something kind of wacky, then the fucking monster gets them. It's literally a Jason film in space. Like, and from that, if you watch it from that vantage point, much like if you think a monkey is causing all the problems on the Titanic, then you will have a fantastic time.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I just feel like I wouldn't call Prometheus a surrealist film, but when you watch a surrealist film, and it is smart, you feel like you're having this conversation through symbolism. I feel like just the general conversation that is happening thematically in Prometheus is so good and it fits. And I thought, okay, yeah, this is great. I was
Did you ever
super
read the
happy with the
script?
novel.
Did you ever read the actual script
I've seen
before Lindelof came on board? Now, I'm
I've
not a
seen,
Lindelof hater.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, I'm not a Lindelof hater. I actually really like Lindelof. But the script that existed before him, all he came on to do apparently was the studio wanted changes. He was the guy, and they were like, make it not 100% alien tied in till the very end. It was like they took off for the planet name nomenclature, all this stuff. The script before that, when it had all the alien shit, 100%, this is alien prequel shit, fucking whole movie makes sense. Whole movie makes sense. It's a weird someone, whether it was Ridley or the studio, at some point was like, we'll make it vaguely not really about alien world, and it could be this or it could be that. And that's what the rewrite was for. And you just look at it, you're like, why? But if you read the original script, it's that movie just when everything, it's just with Alien 100% it's a Alien prequel. It's really great. Like, it's weird how that changed everything.
Yeah. There is a part of it of I kind of like how Prometheus just feels like it's in that world, but it's not an alien movie or whatever. I don't know. I'm okay with what they did, but not Penny's boat, I guess. Is that the
Powerball? You gonna play that? I looked over. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh.
Yeah. Well, what are the odds? What are the odds of the numbers from Lost being the lottery number someday? Is it less or more? Can the collective unconscious make it happen?
Manifest.
Can we manifest it? But yeah.
Kit Manifesto. That's the guy for shit to happen. The Empire will just go away if I believe in it. And then one day the Empire went away because he didn't do shit, but Luke did. And he's just sitting there. See, I told you it would just go away if you fucking you fucking Kit. Like, would you fucking do something?
Yeah.
It's shit manifesto to me. Stop shit saying that. This is calling me shit.
Yeah. I keep wondering if they're going to add Grogu to Kenobi, by the way.
I hope they don't, man. They're gonna really overdo it with that.
Yeah, well, it's like when they show Order 66 stuff, like there is a chance just to kind of to connect it in that way. And I could see doing it with Class and it not being completely shoehorned in. And it being, because if you could just write generic Jedi, or you could have the generic Jedi, for instance, if they are generic, just doing something, and you can put it in there. And I'm curious as if that would go over well or if it would not. But
but imagine if they tried to put Peter Parker or Spider-Man to every Marvel show in some way, because that's the moneymaker for them right now. It's like, well, now he's Peter Parker when he was a kid, or he just randomly appears and Loki as a variant. It would just, I'm just saying, there is a point where you're like,
I'm talking about
show be its own.
I'm talking about like in the flashback stuff when you have the stuff where Jedi do survive,
So am I. Like in Loki, he could have just been a weird variant on another planet, and then in WandaVision, it could have just been the neighbor. He could have been the Beeve, right? The Peter shows up, and the Peter bungled it again. It's like, it's too much.
Okay. How about this? Young Pelimoto, who looks like Sigourney Weaver, and she's super fucking hot.
Super fucking hot. Summer Glau.
As Pelimoto. Yeah, right.
Or they use deepfake to give us young Sigourney Weaver with them, and then panties. Jesus, gotta tell you, man, that Sigourney Weaver in Alien was my first. What is? Takes that jumper suit off, and I'm like,
what mine was? Poltergeist, when the mom is rolling around on the floor on the ceiling in her underwear. when she's like smoking weed with Craig T. Nelson. And she starts. I was like,
so creepy. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Make a couple of possessed kids with her, but yeah.
But I got Alien, and then I get Dana Barrett, and then Sigourney. I get well, she was in Working Girl. Wasn't quite the same.
No, Working Girl wasn't the same.
Get that. I liked her in Alien 3. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember how look at how much the world has changed. It was like people were freaking out that she had a shaved head in Alien 3. Like they could not stop talking about it.
Oh,
it was so weird. Today, if that happened, it would not even be mentioned. They would forget to mention it in articles. It's weird
because the right all wears shaved heads now, and you know, they're open about it. At the time, they were trying to hide that, but
yeah. Oh yeah, and
I don't like that they killed all the characters off in Alien 3. But as a kid whose mom had already abandoned them, I'm like, yeah, shit happens. Like sometimes the people you love just fucking all up and go away on you. You know,
this is real. This is real.
Yeah. So I was like, I related to it on a different level. You know, like
that's why I like Ghostbusters 2. That's why I was all about Ghostbusters 2. I was like, yeah, you know what? My parents got divorced between Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. They didn't stay together.
The one thing I love about Ghostbusters 2 is every Valentine's Day for the last 30 years, Valentine's Day, bummer. Every fucking year I get to put that one up. and this week I get to do it again. Valentine's Day, bummer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got Bad Batch season 2 on May 4th. And they just run it, you know, next to Kenobi eventually. I don't think it's gonna matter.
Okay, question for you. I haven't had a chance. I'm going to watch yesterday's show. I haven't had a chance to yet, but I will watch it.
I'm taking to tell you.
Did they intend to drop that poster, or was that damage control with the poster?
Somebody asked that question yesterday, and I said, in my opinion, it was always the plan, because my spiel was the very, you know, American question is always what's next. The consumer culture is what's next, and that's what we are in this Star Wars world of ours. And I feel like, so I think that was always the plan. I think I would not even be surprised to, you know, if it was on the table to show something about Kenobi or to do a Kenobi tease, and it was decided, no, let's not do it. It's not, you know, we don't want to do that. So yeah, I don't think it was damage, but I do think that they knew it was. I think they knew it wasn't great, but I think that they hoped we were so stupid that if you just put a Rancor in there, we're like, oh, we put a Rancor, now everything is fucking A+. I think there was a lot of that thinking going on with that show. So I think that they were like,
Batman on Batman last night. Kevin.
Oh yeah. What did they say?
All split on it. Kevin loved every fucking thing. He was like, this is so metal, man, you know, and then Mark Bernardin speaks for all of us, you know, just whatever we say, he's on board with. I don't always agree with him, but I was right. And then the guy who owns Scum and Villainy just had the weirdest fucking take I've ever heard. Okay. Right? And you got to go listen to him say this. But he says that in episode 6, the choice that Luke was giving Grogu was first he goes off with something I kind of agree with. He says the choice Luke was giving Grogu was the choice that, to an extent, that Yoda gave him, where he said, you can go save your friends, right? Or stay here and train with me, right? And so, like, Luke was giving Grogu that choice. But if Grogu had picked the lightsaber, he would have expelled him for choosing power, because that's choosing power over your friends. And I'm like, that is a weird fucking take that I in no way, shape agree with on any level, nor is that what's happened. Look at Luke's face. It's not a test for power. It's literally letting the kid make a decision. The question I have to all this is what you said. Luke will gladly take Grogu back if he comes back. You know, like this. It's just that whole thing didn't need to happen that way. You know, if he wanted to go, just let the kid go. You know, and tell him, if you ever want to come back, I'll be here, kid. You know.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but yeah, that was just the weirdest take. But yeah, it's split. This show is split. Rob Liefeld loves it. Half the other comic book dudes fucking hate it. It's fucking weird. You know, so
yeah, I'm very strangely mixed on it. Like as I'm watching it looks and it's Star Wars, and there's something about that I just love. But then as I'm watching it, I'm just like, but this isn't Star Wars done as right or as well as it could be. Not right, but as well as it could be. And so it's like, so yeah, I'm very much. It's a very mixed feeling for me, and this is maybe one of the first times a live action Star Wars thing is actually like where I'm like, ooh, this is not entirely, up my wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Attack of the Clones for me, man.
Yeah.
I
See, like,
still think, man, like those Coruscant shots on Attack of the Clones are really bad.
yeah.
They don't look like Blade Runner. They don't look like Coruscant. It just looks like a bunch of. It looks like, look, I love your lights because your daughter made them, but it looks like that if it were a city. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where to look. There's no focal point, and I think Lucas tries to use that slow zoom in thing, right? Tries to use that slow zoom in to get people to look where he wants them to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, or you could just learn to compose a fucking shot. Like that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about on Star Wars Santa show today. He was talking about it, and I was in the chat. I finally watched Paper Moon, and there are like it's like it gets a pass and it doesn't. Like I completely feel like Grogu going back that soon made the end of Mando season 2 a lot more weaker. But the audience
Yeah.
itself is living like over a year or two with that choice. So in terms of the storyline, like it's like, well, it feels kind of weak in terms of like the storyline if you never saw it. But we did get to live with that choice to go to with Luke for a long time. Before we had a resolution. So there is that real world aspect. In Paper Moon, the little girl they go on a scam. The scam goes bad. It goes south. The guy gets his ass kicked. All the money's stolen. They're broke. They have this old little jalopy car now, and he drops the little girl off with her family, and she's there for a few minutes. The family seems sweet and nice, but she's not sweet and nice. She's a little rock and roller, and she realizes if I ever want to go back with them, basically I have to run back now because I'll never be able to find him. And this is like 1933 or something. This is like during the Depression. So she runs, and she sees him and going in his like little slow ass car, and they're like talking, and then she like gives him her stuff, and she's going back with them. And so it's like the breakup happens, and 1 minute later, basically, or a scene later, they're back together. And then the car starts to take off. They have a choice. She either runs to the car with them or she goes back home. They both run, jump in the car. That's the end of the story. And
say
and
what you want.
But we knew about the Paper Moon thing, and this is just Kathleen Kennedy saying that Favreau is inspired by Paper Moon. But we've known for a long time, if we follow along too closely like we do, that was going to happen. But what we have here is they made it into a cliffhanger. It's like if they did Paper Moon and then they made Paper Moon Part 2. And in Paper Moon Part 2, she gets in the car and then they go on more adventures. And it's like, does that work? Does that work in that way?
I think, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a good call. And given that they easily could have just been telling a B story in Mandalorian season 3 with Grogu, and where he reaches out and finally can feel Mando needs his help or some shit. I was hoping the kid would come back and save him when Mando didn't think anything like that would ever happen.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that I fear the writing. It's just a fear. The writing will get dumber if they continue thinking like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm. It's scary because I love those first 2 seasons so much. I spent $350 on a fucking toy that's gonna arrive tomorrow. Like I can't fucking believe it. And then it's just like now I'm like, do I open it or do I sell this shit on eBay? Well, I hate this shit. Like can it take away my love? And I know you give me that nothing can take away my love. I'm like, yeah, I gotta tell you, man, like
I was saying
Turtles 2
me.
really came close,
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm only speaking for myself here. Like, yeah, if like Book of Boba Fett 3 and 4 come out and they just keep sucking, and I'm like, oh well, then I just won't watch that. I'll just watch, Phantom Menace. Right. It'll work for me. So what's worked for me in the past won't be broken. But yeah, I get where you're coming from on that one. But I would also say, like, I don't know, like, I didn't buy that thing. So you're already more, in a weird way, invested than I am in that kind of aspect of it. I was like, nah, I'm not spending that much money on that. But I also feel like if you did get it and you do get that thing and you do enjoy that piece of toy, then it's probably going to help you just enjoy yourself more. And so, I'd go with whatever makes you happier in the end. But
I don't know what makes me happy.
Yeah,
I just love that idea that the guy was using like broken down remnants of the Clone Wars as his tech.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that idea. Even if I'm not a fan of the way they executed the Clone Wars at all, I just love that. Like this piece, it's like go ahead.
No, Y wings. I mean, when you see I love those ships, and when you see those, they're basically Clone Wars era ships without the coverings. The coverings have all fallen off. I love the Y-wing, and then when I see what they did with the Clone Wars, where they put the coverings back on, I'm like, that's fantastic. So that's the same kind of, like, it's not the coverings thing, but it's that real world lived in things have happened, and there's this whole rich history here, and all of it plays into it. That's what I love about Star Wars. Is you're just like, what are you gonna find? It's like it's almost archaeological to an extent.
Yeah, and he's got a bunk and he's got a shitter. Like there's just something about it that I'm like, I get why people love the Millennium Falcon so much now when I saw that ship. I never got the love for the Millennium Falcon. It was never my fucking ship, like for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I get it. This N1 Starfighter, as much as I love it, I'm like, it's going to need to dock into something at some point. Just doesn't make it. If he's got Grogu, I mean, and a dude back there, it's just a weird. It's a good ship for a purpose. It's not a good ship for like. Times are tough. I guess he'll just have to park it everywhere and sleep out on the planes, right? Like,
I think it tells us a huge intention of the future of the series, and that's that bounty hunting, isn't it? They're not going back to bounty hunting anytime soon, so they're able to make that choice, and it's fine. I like Jedi Mike says, N1 means Mando gets a new ship to park in it, and that's what Rob is saying. Like, you and Rob agree. I think it's saying they're just not going to go back to it. I think we're going to get to Mandalore, and it's going to be about the restoration of Mandalore and all that kind of stuff. So
fair enough.
I could be wrong though. We're all just guessing right here. But yeah, people were
Not
really
me, man. I'm telling you, it's how it is.
Did you see that $230 Boba's Palace playset thing from the HasLabs?
The Lego one?
I think it's a HasLabs. I think it's a HasLabs thing. I didn't watch it. I don't.
Dude, they just failed on a Rancor. Look, the HasLabs, other than this ship, they did Jabba's Sails Barge, a Rancor, and Jabba's. Get the fuck off the Jabba shit. Like seriously, HasLab. There's other fucking. You know what they should be doing right now? They should be doing fucking Din's fucking N1 Starship. You know how those toys on eBay jumped up to $200-300. Those fucking Phantom Menace toys.
Yeah.
Like read the room, Hasbro. No one cares about Jabba's palace.
they should. What they should do is make a replica of the cantina with all of the figures as aliens, and that would just fucking send people through the roof. That would,
with tons of figures,
with all of
the yeah,
all the figures that go inside it. Oh, that would be. I would have to buy that.
100%. Yeah, whoever's running the HasLab Star Wars department, they're the same people who that are running their board game division. Guys,
Joel says it's
plastic.
Joel says it's not a HasLab; it's just a pre-order. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But yeah,
that just annoys me to no end to hear. Like, they did what?
Yeah, yeah. I decided just like I just came as my son was going to be born. And I was like, I had like all these vintage Star Wars figures. I had a really impressive vintage Star Wars collection with like vintage figures from all over the world. I had all kinds of Lily Lettys, and I had stuff from like the Ukraine and all kinds of just strange stuff. And I was like, I'm kind of over. I don't really enjoy this very much anymore. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this, get everything for my kid that my kid could possibly need. I'm going to overdo that, invest in my kid, so to speak. And I'm going to start collecting Star Wars memories from here on out, as opposed to stuff. And whatever stuff he wants, so I'll get for him. That was like my take. Did that, and I honestly haven't regretted it. There's been a couple of times I've been on Star Wars Santa show and he's opening toys. I'm like, ooh, I want that. But I know that as an adult, for me, it's a fleeting feeling. I like open it, I'm like, look at it, I'm very like, yeah. And I set it down. And once I set it down, it's literally over. And I would just, for me, be chasing the next thing to open, the dopamine rush of opening a package. And so for me, that's where I just like, if you came to my house, you'd be like, oh, look, he has this weird Captain Phasma button pin that he got at Disneyland, or this stupid, I think, name tag from Jakku because me and my kid wanted to get him together. Like it's just, it's nothing. It's garbage, really. But
I gotta tell you, man, the DuckTales toys are fucking fantastic. The fact that they didn't make any more of them. I mean, I wish you were there when I walked into Target that day, and I was just perusing through the toy aisle. I never buy anything, and I see those DuckTales toys, and I fucking ran to the front. I haven't spilt my coffee, let it spill. I saw on my way back with the shopping cart, some guy was cleaning that coffee up. I just pretended like I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So I got every one of every fucking thing they had. You know what I mean? Like just a giant cart full of DuckTales toys. Living the dream.
The last stuff I probably bought that I loved that was like that, and even that was fleeting for me, was I got Bill and Ted and Rufus from the action figures. I just always wanted those, like, not done with big heads, the stupid 80s toys. I always wanted them done right, and they did it, and I enjoyed it for a while. Then my kid saw the movie and liked it. I was like, here, you can play with them. Go ahead and play with them. Have a good time. But yeah, I just had a point where I think I only really care about tools for creating stuff. And after that, nothing else really like makes me happy for long in terms of stuff. So
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I just moved away from it entirely. Like it took me like 40 years almost, or how old was I when my kid was born? It was 8 years ago. So I was probably like, 34 or something. But yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with the stuff. But I do completely remember when it really did bring me like a ton of like joy, or, I was really intrigued with it. And one thing I realized about myself was, because I was one of the original 92 kids, if you will, the 92 action figures or whatever the card back said, the first 100 action figures, is you were always like, man, like they made this Luke in 1977 or 78. Why didn't they ever make Farm Boy Luke better? Like, he could be better. And then they do Power of the Force 95, and you're like, oh, you made him buff and stupid. It's kind of better. I don't know. Is it?
It's the worst. No.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I bought them all, but it was horrible. I just sat there looking at it like, what is this? So weird.
Buff Lando and all that. You're like, no, but it was
Leia looks, I mean, look, I'm not saying Leia looks like
Anthony Kiedis. It's Anthony Kiedis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
But she looks like the Red Hot Chili Peppers guy. Exactly.
Yeah, like, she's under the fucking bridge. She was under the bridge.
Slow motion when he's running with the hair, It's like, all right.
But
who did it first? Did they did it first, or did Bad Boys do it first? They did it first, right?
What?
The slow motion with the hair running at the camera. That's the Red Hot Chili Peppers did that.
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers did it first. Yeah. Okay. I think Red Hot Chili Peppers was like 91. But anyways, but so I realized that it was all these connections to these childhood ideas of like, oh, I want to see Leia Bausch done right. And then they would fuck it up every time. And it kind of kept me on the treadmill. of buying. Oh, they made Leia Bausch. She looks great, or Boosh, whatever the fuck it is. But they gave her a thermal detonator in her hand and you can't take it out. I hate that. And so I was like, I'm gonna get the next one. And then so yeah, eventually I realized, oh shit, I don't need any of this stuff. And but it is important to like, buy things when it makes you happy. But it's, I think, always really important to not buy things because you're sad. And that's what a lot of people do.
Right.
And they get like
fulfillment. Yeah, I just wanted the one shit. I had said I'm gonna get a fucking Razor Crest. I didn't want a Lego one. As much as I love Legos, I won't build them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and build Legos anymore. It's just not my thing. Like, I can appreciate. They almost got me twice. Lego Voltron and the Lego '89 Batmobile. They came very close, but I'm like, I'd rather just have like a Voltron that is Voltron versus this Lego one that I'm gonna bump and it's gonna fucking knock over and shit. So, yeah.
But we'll and just to like be like clear, I'm not judging anybody or whatever. Like I don't mean that like in any way at all. Like people who even people who buy stuff when they're sad. But it is just important to be like cognizant of it and like where they're getting it, because when we were coming into this, like a lot of us, especially if you're maybe in your 30s to 40s now or 30s plus, you were involved in Star Wars when it was sort of limited. Like they weren't going to, there was a chance that they wouldn't just keep making everything from Return of the Jedi forever, or everything. Like you would maybe have it all. Maybe you could have it all. The reality is now with Disney owning it, and with the future of Star Wars and the possibilities for stuff, you will never have it all. The collection will never be complete. It's literally impossible unless you put your own parameters down. Like if you put your own parameters down, I think it's smart. Like I only buy things from Empire Strikes Back, or I only buy original trilogy action figures, or whatever it happens to be, or but I can't lie. I see those Mando figures done in the vintage style, and boy, do I want those, But then I'm like, if I get those, then I'm going to start wanting all the vintage stuff back to go with it. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to take the stories and leave it at that. But
I think where they would get me is if they were doing affordable, good quality sculpts off like the Star Wars Vision stuff. I would probably get one of all of it. Like I'd like a little the chunky Boba Fett style. The problem with the ones from Japan are they're fucking $100 a pop, bro. Like I can't justify $100 for a fucking action figure, man. I can't. Like, and I've tried it once with like one of those like import X-Men ones, the Revoltex or whatever, because I was like, I really like the 90s X-Men. If I saved up every year and kind of got one or two here and there over the next 4 years, I could collect a really good 90s X-Men style shit. I got one fucking thing falls apart. It's janky. Like I get this. The Japanese figures look great in photos, and you get them, and they're for people who have delicate hands, and I'm a fucking mongrel. I got like oven mitts, I break shit. Like so, can't do it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, when you bought the Razor Crest, do you have like a Mando figure and a Grogu for it and all that kind of stuff?
It comes with it.
Oh, it comes with that's right. It does come with those guys, right?
With it.
Okay.
No, nice. You know what I did do? I was trying to get some of the other figures, so I pre-ordered Cara Dune before all this shit went down.
Hey,
and you know what arrived? The fucking car. I got this alt-right figure sitting right over here. I don't know what to
do. Cara Dune isn't alt-right. The actor is. Like that's, I think, the important thing too. Unless you just can't unsee it.
I can't see it. Hey, man, Bill Cosby's Bill Cosby. It's not Dr. Huxtable. Like, I get it, but
no, that's different. He owns that's all. That's his empire.
Okay, James Woods. I can't fucking is Hades, right? And as much as I love that Hades memes, I can't make Hades memes no more. How about that? Gotcha. Fair enough.
But my favorite thing ever though is I saw a picture from a comic book store of the standee for Cara Dune, and they put a mask on her. It was pretty funny.
Seriously?
Yeah, like in the comic book store, she's like sitting there with the mask on, and the little sign that says "You must wear a mask to come into the store," and it's fucking Cara Dune.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Someone was like, "I'm gonna, I like that." That person wins the no prize for today.
Yeah,
it's late, but I liked it.
It was solid. But yeah, well, I think we'll call this one a show today, right? We got an hour and a half. I think we kind of like hit on the news of the day and all of that shit. And unless there's something
some big ones today, man. What are you talking? We did a good job.
Yeah, we got some information out there. Some very solid information, I believe. And yeah, but we will and we'll have more coming today. And okay. So anyways, yeah, Bespin just messaged me. Okay, cool, Bespin. That's cool, Bespin. I'm watching you, Bespin. Okay. But yeah.
So Rob likes me now. So here's all the cool shit.
You guys, yeah. Now that you're his friend, he's super nice to me. No, I'm kidding. He's always
me
nice.
And Chris, though, we don't get along, but Bespin and I were cool now.
Yeah, you and Chris. Yeah, he said I asked Chris if you guys were gonna play tennis together, and he said 40 love. I don't know what that even means. That's what he said.
Just wants to whack my balls, mate. Just wants to whack my balls. You got me.
Yeah,
you got me.
I think you just went. I think you might have went Scottish there at the end, though. I think you may have went a little Scottish.
I know. I just tried to make it so no one could cancel me. It's a little bit of everything in there. No one person.
Scrooge McDuck is canceling you right now. Right now, Scrooge McDuck.
I do love David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, after like an episode or two, you get past what you're normally used to hearing, and he's just so good.
Did you know that he won an Emmy for Star Wars?
David Tennant?
Yeah, he plays in that episode arc I was talking about today of the Young Jedi series. He plays an ancient droid who helps the Jedi Padawan pick out the parts to build their sabers. And yeah, he's very good.
Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm. In the Clone Wars, that young,
I did not know that.
And those 3 or 4 parts make a movie, and that's something that you should definitely watch. I mean, it's cute, but it's not precocious. You know what I mean? It's cute, but it's just very good. So
you're gonna have to send me the episodes, and then I'll watch them.
Maybe when we hit like a dry spell, and you definitely have the time, I'll give you like a little bit of homework, and you could like watch one arc, and we'll talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like what you thought and stuff like that. Just like, nothing to put more on you than you need right now, but in general, or when you feel like revisiting something, tell me. And because there's like 2 or 3 arcs in the Clone Wars that everyone should definitely see. And then there's like 2 or 3 that are just really solid mini Star Wars films by themselves.
Yeah, I'm not watching all of it. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, no, and I don't think you should. I don't think all of it's for you. Like knowing you and like your sensibilities, I would say no. But the Young Jedi arc, you would definitely probably enjoy. And there's this one arc about General Krail, who's a Jedi Master who loses his mind, starts sending clones out to die. It is like Band of Brothers. Remember, in Band of Brothers when they want to kill Schwimmer's character because he's going to get them killed? Like they know, like, we got to kill this fucker or we're going to die. They literally did that with clones and a Jedi who's lost his mind. And it's really fucking good. Walter Murch directs it. Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Completely worth your time too. But
we should do like Jason's picks, right? And do like a Jason's whole thing on that.
Yeah. And then
it doesn't give you an excuse to pick your nose on camera, by the way. I know you.
I've been blowing it all day.
Why did I look? I knew it.
You asked for it.
I looked over. Why did I do that? Play myself. No, I'm not looking at you. Whatever you're doing on your time.
Hey. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was sticking my fingers at my nose in case you're listening to this on the podcast version. But yeah. Well,
we should ASMR that for the podcasters.
Here we go. I am slowly putting my fingers in my holes of my nose. But,
Wrong hole, Jason.
I like
the
it,
audio
though.
podcast is raw, dude.
Yeah. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you're
you
welcome.
Froze when you said hole. We're both not moving now. Like, it's great.
Okay, but thanks to everyone who's a Patreon supporter. Audio versions coming. I'm going to be uploading them every day after the show now. That's great. I'm up to the site is rebuilt. I think it's going pretty well. So you could visit MakingStarWars.net every day, get the news first, and read what I say before we get in here. And Cassian Andor just logged in. What? Cassian, go back to the beginning and start the episode over, and then leave a comment, and I'll get to it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that sort of jazz. And I'll figure out what's going on with Star Wars Santa, and we'll have Star Wars Santa back in the comments tomorrow, I hope. But thanks everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Rob. I'll see you tomorrow, dude.
Peace.
Just kidding. I'm